Happy Monday, everybody. I'm Amanda Head, the Hollywood Conservative, and this is your Hollywood Minute. So if you were watching our RAV coverage over the weekend, you know that I had a brief moment to catch up with President Trump and ask him about the economy. If you were not tuning in, then first of all, shame on you. Second of all, here it is.
Mr. President, Amanda Head with Real America's Voice. The July jobs numbers came out. They didn't look as bad as people thought, but you dig into the numbers and it looks like a lot of Americans are actually having to get second jobs, and that's what was reflected. Your thoughts on that sector of the economy?
Well, the numbers aren't real. First of all, many fewer, millions fewer are working now than working during my administration. And they take them off the rolls when they're not looking for jobs. They're not looking for jobs. So you look at 3.5 or 3.7 or 3.9, but it's not a real number. It could be double that, it could be triple that, because they stop looking for jobs, so they take them off. So it makes it look much better. Now, our country is in trouble in so many ways, but one of them is the employment numbers. The employment numbers are terrible. They're really fake. They're fictitious. People aren't looking for jobs, so they take them off. They don't count them.
So President Trump rightly brought forth the concern about the jobs numbers from July. Now, the July jobs numbers were slightly less bad than some people projected, and therefore Democrats thought that it was the most amazing jobs report in the history of the world. The unfortunate thing, as I said to President Trump, is if you look into the numbers and you actually read the report, then you see that a lot of the jobs that this report reports can be attributed to the fact that a lot of Americans are having to get second jobs to make ends meet. And of course, inflation is through the roof. Everyone is suffering right now. And so Congress's answer to that is a bill called the Inflation Reduction Act that does literally anything but reduce inflation. And once upon a time, Joe Biden promised to not raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000. And lo and behold, most of the taxes in this bill affect people who make $400,000 or less. In fact, a larger portion of the taxes in this bill will be paid by people making $75,000 or less than the portion of taxes paid by people making $1 million or more. So for those of you who were so feeble-minded that you couldn't handle a few mean tweets from the 45th president, congratulations, you're killing our economy. So, who's going to pay the taxes in the Inflation Reduction Act? This is information based on the Joint Committee on Taxation, Congressional Budget Office, and the IRS. So, like I said, less than 75,000 people who make less than 75,000 will be paying about 26.5%. On the high end, people who make $1 million or more are only going to pay about 19.8%. So they broke it down to, I'm going to go with these two columns. People who make less than $200,000, about 55% of the taxes in this bill are going to be paid by people making $200,000 or less. So yeah, Joe Biden lied. Yeah. Big surprise. Okay, what else was I going to bring up? Oh, yes. So wonderful Democrats in the Senate. So last week, Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, tried to propose amendments to this bill that would actually protect middle-class Americans. So I'll just read you a little excerpt of that. She proposed 2 amendments to the Inflation Reduction Act that would prevent Democrats from increasing taxes on working-class Americans and small businesses. Despite the Democrats' desperate attempts to frame their latest tax and spending spree as a plan to provide relief to families, the current version of this bill does not ensure that middle-class Americans or Main Street will be safe from the Biden tax hikes. Now, something that is also of concern, the IRS will have 78,000 new agents to audit Americans. Now, for those of you who don't know the culture of the IRS, they don't typically audit very, very wealthy individuals or corporations because they know that those folks can afford to pay for the attorneys to fight the IRS. So these 78,000 IRS agents are going to be coming after you because they assume that middle-class Americans can't afford to pay for an attorney, so therefore they are just going to have to pay up. when the IRS comes around, knocks on the door, decides to audit you and says, hey, guess what? You owe another $50,000. You just got to pay up. So, wow, I am just so sick of weak-minded Americans who couldn't handle a few mean tweets voting for basically the destruction of our country. I'm just sick of it. Okay, I'm in a great mood today, clearly. Everybody head over to my website, thehollywoodconservative.us. Sign up for my daily emails. Head over to MyPillow and use my promo code Hollywood. See you tomorrow.